Hi, I'm Liz Raymond, and I'm normally working on robotics, but I've gotten interested in a new technology lately called soft circuits. And why soft circuits? Because there's a lot of things that we don't need to have be a solid. If you want lighted clothing, or wow, the imagination's the limit on what we could do in a soft type casing rather than hard. I got started with this book, Fashioning Technology. It's really good for a start if you sort of browse through it, but really hands-on learning I always think is more fun. So you don't need a lot to get started with. The first thing I made was I took a glove and made a little conductive patch here so that you could operate your touch or anything with a touch screen with gloves on. And if you look, see, it's just this conductive thread, which feels a lot like yarn. This is the really thick kind, so you have very low resistance, and you can get a needle with a big fat eye and use that. Well, this was okay, but I was actually going to put a light on it, but found it didn't work too well with stretchy gloves. So then I moved on to making this little device. And what this is just a button battery with a button battery holder. I'll tell you the downside to this is the eyes were really too little to get the thread up through. For at least this size of thread. This thread, by the way, comes much, much thinner, but the thinner the thread, the higher the resistance. And then, so you're going to complete a circuit. So what this does is once you put it on your wrist, it's a light. And what's kind of fun about this is it makes a really good book light. I've never found the perfect book light. And I find this one actually works really quite well. And the other thing it's really good for is we have farm animals, and I can go out at night and do what I need to do and have light, and my hands are free. So this is kind of fun. I'd like to invite the students in the Innovation Lab to come join us for a session and see what they'd like to make. I have limited materials. You can get these kind of LED lights in, they're called either a sequin LED or they're really just the surface mount LEDs on a tiny little board, but they're about twice the price. So we're using the inexpensive stuff. So I have some of these. I have conductive thread. I have the batteries. The downside to using felt was it was really hard to get the needle through the felt. Felt surprisingly resistant to a needle. But we could try some experiments with some other thinner thread. We just have to match up the LED to the battery so that they all work together. And we'll talk about that more if you want to join us in a little session. And I think the information for that will be on the website. Thanks.